Hello and welcome to your May 2017 Star Spirit board here with Red Earth Goddess. We finally reached the month of May, the 5th month of the year. Completely excited. The weather is becoming sunny and much nicer. We get to wear light coats and go for nice walks. This is the month where all the beautiful plants and flowers kind of come through, and we, enjoy outdoor picnics and slowly get out to cottages and spend the weekends in bonfires or creating them with people that we care about, and so on. It's also the month where I turn 30. So the second week of May, I do turn 30, and it's definitely been a roller coaster emotionally, psychologically, coming up to this number. As you may or may not know, people go through their first Saturn return from the ages that follow up to 30, 31, 32, 33, and based on my astrological chart, in May, I fully come to a complete orbit, a cycle of completing my Saturn return, and I'm so grateful. I'm still alive, healthy, happy, giving back to the community as much as I possibly can, and still sharing my voice and being a beacon of light for those who have been silenced in every aspect, in so many ways. The list goes on, and I can keep going on. So great. Anybody who's gone through their Saturn return or is going through it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So you're a survivor, and I give you lots and lots and lots and lots of extra strength. And I'm just going to keep telling you to keep sharing your voice and be a voice for the voiceless. And, support people in any way you possibly can by sharing your story, because you never know who's listening, and you never know the lives that you can save just by, being that voice for the voiceless. So enough about that. If you're new to my channel, this board here is a divination board. It's similar to the Enochian tablet, or the Enochian Magic. This board was created by the Gothic legends, and we've got here the English alphabet. We've got numbers 0 to 9. We have a yes and a no. We have a 5-pointed star and a candle in the middle. The 5-pointed star is very also symbolic to the elements, the 4 elements, and the 5th is spirit. So the 4 elements is fire, earth, air, water, including spirit. The 5-pointed star is also symbolic of man, woman, the physical body of man and woman. If you can see, it can kind of look like the head, the 2 legs, and the 2 arms. Okay. And a white candle is symbolic of purity, innocence, starting a new beginning, completing something. And fire is all about commanding. It's all about bringing things together, and it's all about action. Fire is all about intellect, knowledge, action, getting things done. Okay, so I don't usually ask any questions. The way this works is I usually close my eyes. I know you can't see my eyes, but I close my eyes and I allow my higher self to work. So I'm not really pushing the wheel like I am now. Like, I'm not turning it around intentionally. I just let myself go, and I allow my higher self to kind of guide my hands to where it will stop. And intuitively, I will be giving you a reading based on what letter, what symbol, or what number, or what word we land on for the month of May 2017. All right, guys? So I've already started the cleansing and the intentions. before the video started. So I'm just, my eyes are closed, and I'm just going to be turning. And again, wherever it lands, I will be giving you the reading. Okay, so we kind of landed between here, but in between 3 and 4. And we're close to the intellect. So we're close to the crown, higher self, which is funny because I was talking about my higher self really, you know, guiding. 3 and 4. 3 is about creation. There's a few people that were connecting to me last night. We were all up from like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I did receive some ancient documents. Somebody was sending me last night confirming basically everything that I have been working very hard for in the last 30 years of my life to bring forth to the people so that they know where they come from. There's been a lot of broken concepts of our heritage and our religions and where we come from and where we are going. And we'll never really be able to grasp and know where we are going if we cannot completely understand what has happened in the past, because history does repeat itself. And if history repeats itself in a very, what's the word I'm looking for? If history repeats itself in a very disruptive way, we don't want that to continue. And if we can gather up any form of pieces that can help us, strengthen us, and build for the tomorrow, then of course we have not only one, but we have actually, we're working with our intellect, we're working with our guidance, okay? And we don't have to see this as a supernatural being or a god, you know. This all exists within us. This is in our human DNA. Humans are the most intelligent out of all the species on planet, okay? We only use a specific portion of our brain. If we allow ourselves to use a higher form of our actual brain, including the power of our heart and the power of our intuition, we can access so much realistic documents. We can access so much realistic practical endeavors and create something and move forward with something. And the past won't be able to really repeat itself as easily as it was done in prior situations, if that makes any sense. Okay? Yeah, that's just what came out. So for anybody that's watching, if this is confirming anything for you and you've got a grin on your face, because I have a visual of a person watching this and is like, she gets it. She knows what she's talking about. She understands what my intention was or whatever, you know? So whatever helps you out, all it takes is 1 or 2 words, okay? If you are reading something and nothing is grasping and 1 or 2 words click, and that 1 or 2 words, even if it's 1 or 2 words I'm saying, anywhere, you can hear words, phrases, or whatever. Those 1 or 2 words helps you to search more and you find actual artifacts or facts or documents that relate to you, your people, your religion, your ethnicity, your whatever. If it helps you ring a bell, if it helps you find a missing piece of a broken cord that links to something else, then you are by far going far more ahead than your ancestors were able to go forward, okay? Well, look at that. We landed on 4, but closer to 5. So it's like 4.5. 4.5. Well, we are in the end of the month of April. I know this reading is for May, which is the 5th month. But however, this reading that I'm doing is on the 20th of April. So that's the end of April. That's like a 4.5. Something is taking place right now for many people in this entire planet. There's a lot of stuff happening globally that never gets out into the press, into the media. A lot of what you see on the media is being funded by a group of people that only want specific information to be out on their own culture, or they're literally mocking groups of people. And by that being put in the media, it distracts people who care, or people who are who would actually probably, in their eyes, put attention and effort, money, compassion, care into supporting charities, organizations, groups of people. It prevents them from actually knowing of what's going on in the world, okay? So a lot of times that's why you don't hear what is really happening in the world until it hits the press, right? Nobody would even know that World War III is actually begun until it starts in the press. We won't really hear about it unless we actually see bombs being thrown in our own towns, right? I mean, knock on wood for that to not happen. But, and I don't even know, you know, it's just coming out of my mouth. But, yeah, you know, again, I was talking about history repeats itself. If you can understand why certain things are happening, again, why it's happening in certain areas of the world. If you can go back, you know, 100 years ago, what was happening in Syria? What was happening in the Ottoman Empire? What was happening to the Armenians, the Greeks, the Assyrians, the Yazidis, the Serbians, the Aramaeans, the Iraqis, the Kurds, what was happening in Africa? What was happening in North America? Okay? If you can go back 100 years and then come back to today and see that after 100 years, history is repeating itself. Okay? And history is repeating itself because a lot of us who are capable of actually preventing things from happening are not even, first of all, aware of what's happening. We're not even aware of the intention of why it's happening. We're not even aware of how we can stop it. We're not even aware of what we can do by, okay, we know, some of us know, but what direction do we go? What do we do? Right? But it does help to know about these things, of course, to search about these things, of course, and to turn off the fucking TV and to turn off any media that involves Trump, that involves any of this presidential political propaganda fucking shit. Excuse my English, but you guys have to stay away from this stuff because it literally distracts you from real reality. No president, as much as they say they care for the people, they do not care for the people. If you want to be associated with care about the people and know what's going on in the world, subscribe to the United Nations. Okay? Subscribe to channels that involve human rights advocacy. Subscribe to channels that involve charities and watch. And you don't have to, if you don't have the money, if you don't have the time, you don't have to subscribe to them because you have to fund them something. Just watch, observe what is happening in certain areas of the world today, right now. Okay? And then go back 100 years ago, go back 1,000 years ago, and find certain broken pieces as to what is going on. Instead of spending all that time watching propaganda of Trump making America great again. Because rest assured, sorry if this hurts, he himself does not have the power to make America great again. There's people on top of him who are using his voice, okay? So, it hurts, but it is reality, and as civilians and as the people, we should be just as scheming and diligent and observant and clandestine as what these people are doing. It's just coming out, right? The information's just coming out. clandestine as what these people are doing. It's just coming out, right? The information's just coming out. All right, yes, and the number 0, yes. So yes, that is your answer. Yes is your answer. Yes is the answer because it's a never-ending cycle. 0, if you look at the 0, what does it look like to you? There's no broken piece. There's no broken part. You see that? There's nothing broken there. It's not like the number 1 where you see the bottom to the top and the point on the top. You literally see an O. Nothing's broken. It's a 0. You can't get in. You can't get out. And what that basically means is 1, karma. If you harm something, if you harm someone, you will be harmed in return. If you love something, if you love someone, love will be returned to you. If you do community work, you get involved, you help the needy, you help the people in the community, help will be returned to you. If you find your roots, if you find broken pieces, if you go back in history and you find certain answers, in return, you will be able to find people, or people will be able to find you, and you'll be able to create a new cycle, a new circle, a new something that will not be able to break, and you will build with it. Okay? So the yes is kind of, well, not kind of, but the yes is really confirming that there's laws on this planet, and these laws are, you don't even have to be a spiritual person, okay? You don't have to be a spiritual person in order to understand the concepts of how this planet works. If you do something long enough, if you put your intention towards something long enough, eventually you don't even realize how far you've come with it, and you won't even realize that help will be given to you, support will be given to you for you to complete something with it, for you to actually, on a physical form, in a practical way, whether it's money, whether it's a physical location, whether it's a physical something, it will be complete and you'll do something, and there will be people involved with this stuff. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter, it will happen. It doesn't matter if it takes you 10 years, 5 years, 15 years, although the longer the better. Why I say that? Because you'll be able to learn the ins and outs. You'll make better decisions when you kind of fall back and you make a mistake. You'll be able to learn from that mistake and see from that mistake and continue with it. Continue with what went wrong in the past, how you can do better in the future, and understanding and accepting what it is in the present moment, okay? And a lot of times in situations, you know, some people will leave and some people will come back, and some people weren't ready at that time, but now they are because they kind of get it. Lots of people don't, many people don't experience things at the same time, or they have lots of transitionings happening in their life. They may lose a loved one, and that kind of pushes them out of what they want to do, and they kind of have to experience their life on their own, and then they can come back, or they don't come back, or somebody else takes their place, okay? Or they experience bankruptcy, or they become rich, or something happens, right? They go through, they experience an illness, or, you know, not everybody learns from their lessons. Some people go and experience very hard lessons, but if you do something for you, you'll find that you're helping not even just you, your family, your friends, and a community of people. And if you don't have a community of people, just by sharing your voice, if it's not in physical place, if it's not in face-to-face, it can happen on social media. It can happen on YouTube. It can happen on Facebook. It can happen on Instagram. It can happen on Pinterest. It can happen on Google, whatever social media, LinkedIn, anything. Anything. Sky's the limit. Yes, so we landed on A. Oh, you can't really see. Here it is. We landed right on A. A is the beginning. It's the first letter of the alphabet. A kind of symbolizes a human being as well. If we look at the letter, it's like a physical body, 2 legs, and the crown, the head. So I feel like a lot of people are kind of finding out, they want to go back and they want to learn about humanity, humans, human DNA, Homo sapiens. Not even just about where the planet started, not even just about continents. You know, in the last few days, a lot of people have been talking to me about Lemuria. I did have a lot of videos back in 2012 and 2013, even in 2009, but I had an older channel then, and it's no longer around, but I had an older channel in 2009 where I used to talk about Lemuria and Atlantis, the lost continents, and how there was much peace on Earth when Lemuria was around. Atlantis was it started to become a little more corrupt, but Lemuria was a very higher frequency of what this planet is supposed to be vibrating on. But because we have all these chemtrails and chemicals in our foods, famine, drugs, pesticides, this kind of lowers our food intake or the nutrients in our food and what humans are actually supposed to look like, feel like, experience, and to remember we have godlike power. We have a brain that is like godlike power, and our physical bodies are made up of it, are made to be like godlike power. But the air and the food and these warlike mentalities have really dumbed us down. And I'm not telling you to go throw a bomb and to release your tension or something like that. I'm just telling you to be aware of these things, and maybe that's what you want. Maybe you just want to know more about humans in particular, okay? But to end this reading, I would just like to say, if that's the path that you're taking and you'd like, you're really interested in these concepts of where do humans really come from, the truth of it, because every book says something different. But if you're searching and you're searching and you're searching, if you could possibly do anything about it by altering your life, changing your habits of how you think, how you view yourself and your family in the world, becoming more content with what you have in life. It's not what you have, it's how you see your life and your perspectives. Just being happy with what you have now, being able to learn about these things is very, it's a rich thing, because not everybody has access. But if you do have access and you have 20 minutes of your day, and you're passionate about learning, well, learning is a very, very beautiful thing, and there's a lot to learn. So stay content, stay happy. Don't allow yourself to be hurt or hurt others. Don't allow your heart to be dark and to go in that path, okay? So thanks for watching. I hope this was a good reading and you enjoyed it. If you did, please share, like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you'd like. I will be having the tea leaf reading for May coming up soon. I've been very busy, so lots of conferences coming up. I will be away for a little bit, but I will be coming back and making more videos. Okay, guys, thanks for watching again, and much love and gratitude. Goodbye.